Welcome to a new Energy Crew podcast with me, your host, JP Warren. And I have a little fact for you to kind of start off today's this episode, that over 20% of startups fail within the first 2 years. And that number goes to 50% within 5 years. I know Crew Club, we've been around almost 2 years, and we are not in that 20%. But are we out of the 5-year gate yet? Not yet. And I think one thing that's been very important to me, I think despite the lack of a guest, I think it's fun to share little insights and kind of tidbits or stuff that's helped me along my journey, along my pathway to have several successful companies. And not only that, before I launch a new company. So I want to share with you kind of something that's helped me and something that I've thought about that's kind of that I kind of put some, meat around the bones on it during one of my many flights around the country for my Crew Club events. And that is, does your brand, does your product have the fever? And I personally believe that having your product having the fever lets you stand out, lets you survive that the 2-year threshold, the 5-year threshold. And for me, it kind of boils down to this: whether you're launching something new that's been done before or something that's never been done before, it's important to for the marketing communication of your product. Does your product have the fever? And what does fever stand for? Fever, F, feeling, E, expectations, V, value. And value doesn't mean how cheap it is. And I think that's going to be interesting to listen to. E, exposure, and R, repetition. So, this is my third time kind of putting this episode together. I think this is in the absence of a guest, I'm trying to think how we can provide value out there to the listeners out there, to my listeners, and kind of and I was thinking, hey, why not just kind of put together on something that I'm passionate about? And I think this might help you out too. So rather than focus on kind of how I've used it with my Crew Club, with Exec Crew, with Connection Crew, I'm going to kind of tie this and kind of to another product that we are all familiar with, which is an Apple product. So I'm going to go through each of these letters in fever, and I'm also going to tie that in at the end to kind of how Apple has used the fever with their approach to advertising and marketing and brand position, all that stuff, and just kind of wrap it up that way. So so I think one of the key things for whether you're a founder or anything like that is it's so easy for your head to get down in the weeds. It's so easy for you to be focused primarily nonstop on kind of what you have to get done, what's on your plate, what's in your path forward, where you kind of don't stop and realize, oh, wow, not everyone else is keen to know what I'm doing. Not everyone else understands the vision that I have or what I'm putting together. And why should they? I know it might take up 24 hours of your day, but that doesn't mean it's on everyone else's radar. So this is how fever can help you stand out and kind of get more exposure than other people, and also kind of communicate your story about your product and reach the audience that you're looking for. So for me, I think this whole idea of fever comes along with lines of the importance of marketing. It's the importance of communication. So fever is a way to communicate what your product is and kind of tells the story about your product. So fever, F, feeling. Sorry, we had Grandparents' Day earlier, and I'm a little bit frazzled because I'm doing this in the afternoon when I usually do this in the morning. So F, feeling. As a customer, what do you want your customer to feel from your product? What feeling should be attached to your product? Is it going to be easy for them? Is this a product that's going to save them time? Is it going to save them energy? Is it going to save them a step in their day? Is it going to add to their days and add tasks? Is this something that's going to make them stand out from the rest because not a lot of people are using this? Or is it select luxury or anything or something like that? So this is a way to kind of establish some rapport with your audience and kind of communicate to your potential audience of what they can expect, what feeling they should get whenever they do come in touch with your service or product. All right. Where is it? I took a little bit of notes so I don't forget anything. All right. And the feeling kind of defines the story and the essence of your product as well. It's is this the latest tech out there? Is this something that's we've simplified this, or what is the customer going to expect when using that product? And that kind of ties into the E, which is expectations. Again, this is a bond. This is a contract that you are having with not just your current clients, but probably most likely your potential clients. What is the expectations? If I'm going to spend my money on using your product versus a product that's very similar, why? What's my expectations for this? What am I going to get out of trying something new out? Or if this is something that is new, what expectation should I get from utilizing your product or service? This allows you to differentiate yourself from others out there. This allows you to kind of stand out and kind of beat on the drum on why you're doing this in the first place, why you are launching this, starting this, developing this, inventing this. It's the expectation that the customer is going to have from consuming your product. Value, V. This was an interesting one to me because I've fallen guilty of this as well. I think whether it's through Golden Corral or whether it's through McDonald's or any fast food company out there, value is associated to me. When I think of value now, just because it's been kind of like thrown in my face, is how much can I get for as little I can spend. So, for example, when we go to McDonald's, how many Big Macs can I get on this value meal for $1? Golden Corral, all you can eat, $5.99, great value. I want to kind of ask you a question right there. When you're buying a wedding ring for your spouse, when you're going out there and you're purchasing, something that's not cheap for a lot, does that value mean the same thing? Is value the cheapest cost for the most that someone can get? I don't think so. I think that we need to kind of be more prideful and kind of have some stake in the ground on what makes our product valuable. And again, I mean, going back to it, what's the definition of value? Value is something that people that holds value, that holds, I guess, some weight to it. So this is kind of a good exercise for you to kind of pull back from the price of things, of your product or service you're trying to get people to bite at, and instead show the true value of this. Why is this product or service invaluable to your consumer? Why must they have this? Why is this new bell and whistle that they're going to use that you developed and you made up? Why is this the next best thing? So I think value is easy to move away from the cost mindset more to kind of how it's going to enrich someone's life. I think that's a good way, another way to differentiate yourself from others out there. It shifts your mindset from placing stuff at a lower cost. I remember when I was talking about Crüe Club, I'm not going to do this too much. I'm not going tangents my person. When I'm talking about Crüe Club, it started off at this amount and, for access to the events and all that. And I'm kind of, trying to tell, this is value added networking. You get so much for this little cost compared to other industry events, compared to other networking groups. Look how much you get for this. However, that quickly changed after you start realizing there is value in connections. There is value in relationships. So for me, when people come to me and kind of propose that question back, like, man, this is a lot for this, why am I doing this? My response back is, well, what's the value of a good connection? What is the value to you for making that one connection that can make or break your year? So for me, it's not defending your price. It's being proud of your price. So that's the V, the value part. All right. Exposure, E, exposure. Again, your head's, in the weeds, you got blinders on, you're marching straight forward. How are you communicating this? How are you telling the story about your product, your service, what you want to offer your customers? Exposure. Where are you talking about this? Are you at where all your competition is? Are you at where all of your customers aren't? Are you putting your marketing dollars and budget and your advertising efforts into a void where no one listens to? Are you utilizing all the necessary social media platforms? I mean, there's 100 out there. So which ones are more effective? So exposure. How loud is your voice? How targeted is your message? And how many times are you getting out there and kind of pinging your customers, raising your hand? That's exposure. How are you exposing your product and your service to your potential customers? And that's kind of, again, it's fun to do. It's tiring to do. It's repetitive to do. But again, it's something that, I think I read somewhere you have to tell someone 7 or 8 times before something sticks. This is part of that. And this also ties into the repetition, the R, the final piece of this. Repetition is the constant repeating of your message. It's telling your story in a different way, in a different way, in a different way. This is something that I actually enjoy doing. I've been kind of down this path for 2 years, putting this together, putting that together. I've in my circles, everyone understands that I know the value of a network. I know the value of a connection. I understand why people need to network. But if I'm posting this stuff or I'm talking about it, how often do you think I need to probably say it over and over and over and over again for it to dawn on people? Like, oh, wow, me spending an hour and a half away from my family to be around this group probably is more beneficial in the long run, should things happen. So repetition, constantly reframe, repeat, reuse, and recycle your message out there. It tells a story in so many different ways. I'll relate to a story different than you will. An engineer can relate to a story different than a creative digital marketer. People connect to things very differently. So the more you repeat it, the more chances you'll get your hook into someone about telling your story. And always be genuine with this stuff. So that's kind of the fever side of things. And I hope that this is something that you're getting some value out of. I think I want to keep on continuing to put these little short Energy Crüe podcasts out there to kind of share stuff that's helped me along the way. And if it helps you, that's awesome. That's great. That's why I love potential benefit of having a podcast and listeners out there, that a lot of people probably are in the same boat, and this might be able to help y'all. So let's take a look at this. The fever. Does your product have the fever, as Crystal Walken says? And looking at Apple, I just kind of typed in real quick. Hey, look, using these frameworks. Let's talk about Apple. If you think of fever, who does it properly? I would say Apple does. It's not a cheap product. It's a pretty pricey product. It's a sleek product. There's definitely a message on this product. And why would I spend $1,500 on a phone when I could probably spend, $30 on a flip phone that does the same thing, besides the camera qualities and all that stuff. So the feeling. So Apple's feeling. So whenever you think about Apple or the Apple iPhone, the new one that just came out, all that stuff, it focuses on innovation. That it's a great product to use. It makes your life easier. You can now do this. It's kind of connecting to the emotional side of the consumer. Do you want to be in? Do you want that blue bubble? You don't want that green bubble. So there's a lot of layers to the feeling that Apple kind of provides whenever they're promoting their product. They say, their launches. Think about their launches. I mean, it's just like, they go from like a USB-C cord to a whatever cord, and that's like a huge deal. It's they create a sense of excitement for something new when in reality it's kind of the same thing. Expectations. They deliver. They set your expectations high. Hey, look, whether it's through teaser campaigns, whether it's through commercials, they're generating like the expectation, like, hey, when this new thing comes out, this is going to be game changer. A lot of people are going to get it. Everyone's going to get it. You want to get it. You want to be in that circle. So it's setting the expectation that there's nothing more advanced in tech out there for a phone. Like, this is the premier phone to have at all times. So that's the expectations. If I buy this Apple phone, not only will I feel like I'm part of something, all right, my expectations is that it's a high quality phone. It's something sleek, it's trendy, it's hip, it's hot, it's now. Value. iPhones aren't cheap. Apple knows that. It's a higher price tag. So they're saying, hey, look, yeah, we understand it's a lot, but we're worth it. We're Apple. This is our iPhone. If you want to be part of this crowd, if you want to have your life easier, if you want to take better pictures of your child running up the stairs and all that stuff, you're going to get the newest Apple, because the other Apple's cameras sucked. So you're getting the value now of things. You're getting the value. Again, that's not price point. The value is what you're getting. This invaluable product that you're getting from Apple. All right. Exposure. You tell me where you don't see an Apple advertisement, whether it's on any of your social media sites, whether it's on the news. I mean, even utilizing the news for their product launches is smart. Whether it's celebrities, whatever it is, billboards, you're seeing Apple constantly expose themselves so your eyes can pick it up in your homes, at the gym, wherever you are, in your car. The exposure is there. What else? Commercials, TVs. I'm reading that right now. All right. Repetition. How many times do you see that Apple 15, Apple knew this, knew that, knew that? And you see it so many times, whereas even if you want to forget that you have to buy the new iPhone, it reminds you on a constant basis that there is a new iPhone out there, and it's been out, it's coming out. You need to get it. If you don't, you're out. So again, I think I think the whole concept of fever. I think the whole concept of communicating your product on the feeling, the expectations, the value, and again, that doesn't mean cheapest. The exposure. How loud are you being, and how much is your voice filling up the room? And repetition. You have to be repeating this, because if you think how fast you scroll through LinkedIn or any social media site, it's gone. So the more you do this, and the better, the more stories you tell about your product, the more audience is going to reach. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found value out of this. And I plan to be doing more of these kind of stuff that's helped me along the way, and stuff that I'm going to share with you. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe, tag, talk about it, review it, so it kind of gets out there. Again, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Energy Crüe podcast. And this episode is brought to you by Exec Crüe. Oh, got to do that a lot.